handle the truth.
Alrighty then.
Did you just have a brain fart?
We didn't think so.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
We want it now!
KCR has you covered.
I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Make no doubt about it.
I'm gonna have fun, and you're gonna have fun.
This is KCR College Radio for the home of the Aztecs.
But I'm saying today it's got to go from external to internal. You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. I got to commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta eat it, I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours.
KCR wishes the best of luck for your finals, and may the force be with you.
Bored during the day? Maybe you just want to chat. Drop us a line, 619-594-6982. Turn it up with KCR.
KCR. Every hour on the hour. You don't want to miss this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Non-stop EDM for late night adventures here on KCR College Radio.
I feel like this year is really about like the year of just realizing stuff.
We know it's hard to keep up.
And everyone around me, we're all just like realizing things.
But we're not slowing down. Voted 2016 Best College Station in the Nation by the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System. Yeah, we know. Pretty cool, right?
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
You gotta check out KCR.
You wanna go do karate in the garage? Yup.
This is KCR, the sound of state.
Welcome to KCR College Radio. You're now listening to Thought Fusion, your favorite show for the Friday and your favorite source of Friday entertainment. Today in the studio we have DJ Ann.
Hello.
We have Paula the Big Balla.
Paula Schwala.
Okay. So start, Sophia Hallberg.
Hey guys.
Myself, Liza Popova. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're really excited for today's show. We have a lot of really cool segments. Paula did a lot of research for us, and we're having, I think for the second part of the show, something's cooking up, right?
Mm-hmm. Something meta.
Something meta.
What does that mean? What does
you'll
meta
find
mean?
out.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to just, jump right into our Facebook discussion because I've been seeing so many memes and like pictures of Mark Zuck. I'm just going to call him Zuck. Of Mark Zuck. When he's an alien and then it's just like code language and it's really funny. And then I've seen it everywhere and I was like, oh, why so much hate all of a sudden? And I did some research and let me just read a paragraph from a very credible source. We call that source The New Republic. And basically there are allegations that Facebook has been providing data to a British, I think...
Cambridge Analytica? Is that what it is? Cambridge Analytica?
Yeah, Cambridge Analytica. So a British, I don't even know what to call them, statistics firm, which goes against... Some people argue goes against the privacy of Facebook users. This brought me back to this discussion with that dating which wasn't really dating, but a cheating website. What was it?
Oh, Ashley Madison. Now I remember what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley Madison. But this is a little bit different still. So yeah, people were concerned that their data and information is just being sold basically, and that Facebook is disregarding any rights to privacy that we reserve. At the same time, we do sign an agreement, right? A click-on agreement, which does give them certain rights. Yes, Sophia?
Yeah, I think that like that's the whole agreement thing is something that's becoming more and more serious because I mean, think about like iTunes, you think about pretty much anything online, even like Gmail that you sign on to when you make an account. And oftentimes during your time of using it, you always check yes. And I'm always like, everyone's like, read through it, like, see what, but I'm like, I'm never gonna like, I'm making my, my Venmo account or whatever, downloading the app. I'm just gonna be like, okay, I have to do this. I'm done.
If you want to survive, in today's world, there's no way you're reading through those agreements
absolutely
and then being like, excuse me, I'm not comfortable with provision 5. Could we please like discuss that so I can use your, no one's gonna do that ever.
Right. And it makes you wonder, like, they know, I mean, okay, I don't know what the executives of Facebook are thinking, like, oh yeah, they're not gonna write this, let's just throw this in there. But like we have to be so careful because it's so serious what is happening right now. So
yeah.
I especially think with the rise of targeted advertising that we've been noticing on our computers and our phones, it doesn't really come as a shock to me that they're selling our information because it's also like, duh. But at the same time, having it set in stone in a lawsuit, it's very concerning. Oh, a fun fact, the people suing are from San Diego, 2 people. But
oh, wow.
Heck yeah. And another thing is that this has got so much publicity that the English Parliament wants Zuck to go and testify for why he chose to do what he did. One of our senators actually sent him a letter requesting an explanation of his actions. And then Congress is also interested in talking to Zuck. I hate that I'm calling him that. Zuck.
Yeah, right? That's awesome.
But this is being treated very seriously. And a lot of people are making the argument that without selling the data to websites, like our software and whatever, software is not the word for this, but networking, like everything that has to do with e-commerce, with networking, won't have enough money from the investors because what is there to invest in unless we're selling data and information to help businesses because that's really profitable. Yes, Sophia?
The level of data that they have too, I actually just saw on Facebook where I was probably, having all my information leaked out as I was on it. But I'm addicted, so it's fine. But I was on there and someone shared this thing and it was like, go through these settings and you can see how much they actually know about you. And it was like, go onto your settings and it was like, click on ads. And then you can go on and see like it says your information, you click it and it knows that it labels me as very liberal, which is, anyone can gather that from my feed because I'm always like, here's the next Hillary Clinton ad, let me share, or, gun control, whatever it is.
Sorry, side note real quick, Sophia, before her horrible apartment break-in, she had a laptop and she had Hillary. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not going to, I literally, I was heartbroken when our stuff was taken. But one of the most heartbreaking things was this bumper sticker.
Say the sticker.
I literally remember Googling like, where can I get a Hillary Clinton sticker? And I was like, whatever, like it's over.
Sophie,
but
you're hilarious.
I'm just such a fan. But literally, the amount of information that they have, like it labels me as that, and like the other stuff that they can gather from you. Like I was listening to a podcast about this earlier this week on the New York Times, and it was saying like they'll track like they have maps of like where your phone like is like location wise, where your car is parked, and like how long it's been there, and like what you're searching, and like the mass amount of data it's horrifying almost.
Yeah.
On the location thing, I actually just read this article that's was about Google and how
that may have been
from the moment you have started using Google, they've been tracking where you are, and there's like a certain place you can look and see a little map of every Google checkpoint that they have you at. So it's kind of ridiculous.
Whoa.
I mean, it's not just Facebook doing this. A bunch of websites are doing this. Yeah, Paula?
Yeah, adding on to that, I found that out recently, and from 2 years ago, I was able to track a hike that I did in another state with my dad, and it said how many miles from where to where. This was when we were in Colorado, I believe, but this was a hike we went on that long ago, and the fact that it gave me all the information about it is crazy, and yeah, that's correct. So I just wanted to let you all know that it's true.
Yeah, I was like thinking about that, and I was kind of like, I guess, not trying to see like a silver lining, but I was like, what if like, say like you were on that hike and like when say you're on the hike and they're recording data, like what if you got lost? Like there's definitely a positive to like someone being able to know.
Yeah,
but on two sides of that, it's like, how would you get that info to help save someone's life possibly? And then why do we want it now? Anne?
A funny thing about that is that I actually just watched a 30-minute little video about 911 calls and how we have the technology and how they're tracking us so accurately, but 911 is so underfunded, so wow, okay. They're so underfunded that they don't have that technology, and they will only find you 1 out of 5 times, which is kind of ridiculous. So they have the technology, it's there, but it's not being utilized in the way that can help us, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you were to call 911, I mean, what are the chances that they're going to access Google and, you know, cross-reference them, because they can't, you know?
That just made me so sad. That just like dropped my spirits.
Wow.
Like,
I'm so sorry.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
actually really sad, but that's the reality of bureaucracy and how the tech companies maybe should team up with our government and creating a more efficient system.
Something productive can come out of it for sure. Like if you're in an emergency, like I guess call Google. Like I don't know.
Call Google. Yeah, Paula.
I mean, I'm starting to think about the law aspect of this, and in like the court of law, let's say you have an allegation about anything, it could be used as an alibi, your location, but at the same time, I feel like it could also be used to criminalize you somehow. I don't know. It's kind of scary.
That's actually already happened. There was this man who was on trial for murder, and his Fitbit gave away the fact that he actually committed the murder.
Oh my!
I don't know how, but it corresponded his location during that time, and that's how they found out that he committed the murder.
His
wow.
Fitbit. Oh my. Oh my geez.
So
yeah, you're dropping some like information today. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All my time on the internet is paying off.
They can have all my data, but I know all about their data. So
back to the Facebook discussion though. Did any of you happen to read the statement that Zuckerberg gave on Facebook?
I did not, but I just remember that it was not a smart move what he did. I just remember that it wasn't received. In this article, at least the New Republic, I think mentions that it wasn't the best response he could come up with. Did you, Paula?
I read it. I actually thought it was a pretty good response, assuming everything that he said was factual, because one thing that we're not acknowledging about this case is that, at least according to his post and other news sources, he didn't directly sell information to Cambridge Analytica. He actually he discovered that they were illegally taking the information, and he didn't do anything about it at first, but then eventually he did do something, which they lied about. Like they lied and said they deleted all the information because he had some audit to get them to stop. And then, so I guess in a way it wasn't necessarily his fault, but I mean, I do believe he was probably turning a blind eye to it all because it's very easy to do so. But I just feel like we should acknowledge that because he didn't just directly sell the information to them.
I read somewhere that it said initially he had said it had only been like a couple thousand people whose information had been stolen, but he recently just said it had been like literally almost every single user on Facebook who has had their information stolen, which is kind of crazy the way he tried to downplay it. I don't know if he was aware of the information at first, but...
And also, if you think about that information, I mean, depending on how much you use Facebook, it's not only like a profile of like who you are that they could be receiving information from, but it's also like oftentimes people, you know, you play a game where you use Spotify or whatever that is linked to your Facebook account because it's so easy to be like, oh, log in with Facebook on several different apps. If you put your credit card information on there, Tinder, like there's a lot of risk there. Where is your, I mean, where could your money, I mean, I'm not saying like that could happen, but like that's dangerous. So
yeah.
Actually, I'm really glad that this whole scandal happened because in his post, he's talking about the steps that he's going to take to prevent prevent corruption like this. Like there's going to be a tool on your Facebook where you could see which apps have permission to data, what data they have permission to, and it's easy to revoke access. And he also is making a thing where if you don't use an app for 3 months, their access to Facebook automatically gets shut off until you re-allow it. So I feel like these changes are a really positive thing. So despite whatever could have happened, I don't know, it was good.
It's funny to kind of see that this only happens when we have a problem. This is not thought through before we get into these issues and problems with concerning policy and the legality of the question. But I mean, hopefully this will work and I don't know. I don't even know what prediction to make. I just hope that Zuck gets out of this, doesn't go to the parliament and Congress doesn't roast him. Yes, Sophia?
I also think, I mean, it makes you wonder, I mean, if they can come back from this, and a lot of people are saying that they might not be able to because their stocks are already plummeting. But the other thing is, like, when it comes to things like your privacy and your information, that is so much more sensitive, and that's why it has all this uproar. I mean, I don't know what to compare it to, but there's so much that is at stake with that. And even if he says things like, oh, you know, we're fixing this, and this is actually how it went down, and, like, it's someone's, I mean, you think about, you know, things that are private, for you that you would never want to expose, and that is such a thing that like strikes fear in people, I think. So this could be really, really bad for them.
I'm sorry, but going back to Ashley Madison, that was a situation. Like, not all of us have that side of us, but for some of us, I don't know. I read a good article about French people and how private they are with. Well, that's a generalization, but majority of French people are really private about religion. And so they don't even talk, they don't discuss it. And in polls, they will say, I'm baptized, but they will not tell you, like, if I actually believe, very private people. So, you know, this is a stupid example, but what if, like, you were following all these, like, pages and, you know, interest groups, and that got leaked, and it's just a situation that it's not something like Ashley Madison, like, but it's at the same time, it's your business. It's no one else's business.
Right.
And so I think it's very important that we're talking about this today and that measures are being taken. And I think, Paul, you had something to say?
One thing I was going to say is that I also want to acknowledge the fact that when Facebook was started, social media wasn't a big thing at all. It didn't have this big impact. So these companies getting information about people, they weren't necessarily getting their personal information in terms of like pictures, what they're talking about, but it's more information for how they can get profit out of everyone, which I'm not saying is a better thing, but it's not like it's leaking privacy in a way. And I just also, like, I sound like I'm supporting him a lot and advocating him, but it's just, I'm thinking about the fact that, like, we do need to acknowledge that it wasn't a big thing at the time. So all this information getting leaked, like, it's a new thing, and no one really knew how to handle it. No one knew social media would blow up this much in the first place.
And just to finish this one up before we go into our space discussion, I just want to say that you're right, Paula. Like, we are, the information that was leaked wasn't like of significant importance and maybe wasn't as sensitive, but I think it's important to also think in broad terms. And we definitely don't want a big brother situation going on, because it starts off small and then it just grows and grows. And I think there should be limitations. I'm not sure where the the good medium is between regulation and being able to access information. We shall see. This is an experiment, and this has not been done before. We're the first generation growing up with this, and we are to decide the policies and the legislation that is required for this to work and for us to have a healthy presence online. And so I think that this is very important news, and we should follow this. And the years will show where this will go and how we can approach this better.
Right.
Yeah. And quick closing thought. I feel like soon we're going to start finding out about what a lot of other companies are doing. Like, if they're getting information about us. There's probably so many scandals existing right now that we don't even know about.
Right.
But I feel like this situation's going to bring all of that out.
Can't just be Facebook. There's no way this is just Facebook. This
No,
has
there's
to
no
happen.
way.
Exactly, Sophia.
And it'll be a huge question of our ethics and morals and how the world changes online for us. But anyway.
But speaking of the world changing, did you know that the universe is constantly expanding?
And isn't it crazy that there are black holes that we don't even know like what they are? They're technically too heavy of a substance of a thing. This is really funny. None of us really have the proper vocabulary and jargon to support this conversation, except for maybe Paula.
I am taking an astronomy class right now. That is correct. And I have a midterm Tuesday, so one might call me an expert in this topic right now.
I dropped that class. I got too scared.
You know what this reminds me of?
I can't do this.
In 22 Jump Street, when Channing Tatum takes one sexuality course. Do we all remember the scene when he takes one sexuality course?
Yeah, I have not seen that movie.
He's talking.
Describe it, Elizabeth.
They're just being chased by these gangsters, and they're in a library, and then Channing is just talking to Jonah about how it's not okay to say like certain derogatory word towards homosexual people, and he's like so passionate about it. And he just took one course, so this is what Paula reminds me of. But Paula, do you want to start us off?
All right. Well, one of the articles that we were looking at has a lot to do with black holes. And actually, personally, I want to spit some black hole knowledge, because people kind of have this concept of black holes that they're just going to suck in everything. So, fun fact. Okay, that was not. Anyway, so a fun fact. If our sun were to just turn into a black hole and it would have the same mass as, like, our current sun, Earth and the surrounding planets wouldn't just get sucked into it. They would revolve around in the same exact way, and nothing would change other than the fact that our planet would probably freeze because there's no sunlight. But
Nothing would
No big
change.
deal. It's fine. Nothing would
I
change.
feel like when most people think of black holes, they just think it'll just like take in everything and it just disappears in this place that doesn't exist.
Sorry, nothing would change. It's just the whole of humanity would die. But then apart
probably,
from that,
probably within seconds, right? I mean, how fast does that happen? Like,
not seconds. I actually remember from 8th grade. It takes like a few minutes for the energy from the sun to hit Earth because we're so far away.
more of a slow, painful
Yeah.
death.
It would be brutal. Yeah, it would be
Really?
brutal because you would probably. I don't know if you would see the energy just like waning.
It would take either 8 seconds or 8 minutes for the Earth to get completely dark. I just learned this, but I don't remember if it's minutes or seconds.
I think it's minutes.
But if you think about this too, like we are each in a very small. I mean, think of San Diego, very small part of the Earth. If it takes minutes for the whole Earth to be covered, I mean, our part getting covered is gonna be like boom. Like I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that makes any sense, but
you know what I'm saying, or
you know what I'm
whatever.
saying? You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's ridiculous.
Sorry. Side note: Paula is.
It's 8 minutes.
Paula is looking it up in
whipped
her,
up her-
notebook.
I got my lecture notes here, guys. It's 8 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
Yep.
But that's just crazy. So let's say the sun turned into a black hole right now. We wouldn't know until 8 minutes from now.
What would you do for your last 8 minutes?
We wouldn't know.
It's a weird concept of like living your best life all the time, as my roommate says, live your best life. Shout out Jan. But like living your best life, like what if you only have 8? Anne's looking at me like this is ridiculous. Move on. But anyways,
Anna's like, I'm calling Beige like 8 minutes.
Everyone's coming at Anne. She didn't even say anything. I know.
just wait for the ad.
I'm just sitting
Anne's
here.
getting on her Palatolid game today.
I was
Anyways.
just listening. Gosh.
Anyway, but black holes. So black holes are big holes, and so the interesting thing about this is that in our Milky Way, there were speculations that black holes kind of stick together. They're like a group of cheerleaders, and they cheer each other on, and then gravity changes depending on. I'm making this one. I'm making up depending on how close they are together. I'm not sure if that's true.
That's probably true. It sounds about accurate.
Yeah, sounds about right. Whatever. But so yeah. Anyway, and so we used a telescope from NASA from NASA.
No.
Wait, did you say NASA?
Yeah, and I was looking at Anne because I wanted a reaction out of her, and I got it. So from NASA, we were looking through a telescope, and basically we discovered. Well, we had speculations, but we found proof. When I say we, I think a professor from Caltech, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm,
But
it was.
Also, I think the Arizona space program. I'm not sure what that was called. But it was like also involved. Yeah, Anne, here we go.
I'm just so confused about your story. Did this happen to you or is it someone else?
Black holes?
No, like with the professor and stuff. Were you there looking at the telescope?
No.
Okay.
And
I was unclear if you were talking about something like that you had read or
No, the article.
Oh.
So the article that we were all gonna read before the show, Anne.
Anne, it's okay. Anne was practicing for the ad. She was spent all of her time practicing the ad.
Oh, that was such a good roast. This is such a good quality roast.
I'm sorry, Anne.
But
our friends, it's okay.
To just clarify, I was not there when the black holes were discovered.
You could have spun that. You could have been like, yeah, I was there.
But yeah, so black holes. So they're together, and yeah, so we just discovered proof of something that was speculated by Albert Einstein about 100 years ago. Einstein.
I think it's Einstein, isn't it? Is it Einstein?
I say honestly,
Okay, all right.
I say Einstein.
Coldplay, Nickelback, yeah, same thing.
Nickelback, yeah.
I mean, did the article happen to say how that would affect us or just that it exists? I'm just wondering.
That article in particular just said that exists.
Interesting.
But it's great to find proof to something you were
you didn't know about. Yeah, it's great to learn. I agree.
Well, this other article too has a lot of proof for things, and it's very. I was looking at this. I'm just trying. I'm sorry, but I was looking at this, and it was like the whole concept, and each of these little. You guys.
Go on, Sophia.
It has proof for things. But I found it very fascinating the next one that we looked at, and it was from space.com, which is pretty generic. But like the different
Sophia.
planets that they've been discovering, and the concept of like being able to be habitable, and then like water, and like I read this one about like I can't find it
Wait,
exactly.
what being habitable?
Well, the alien planets they've found,
exoplanets. Okay.
right? And so one of them was saying like, yeah, like there could be, there could possibly be, a habitable space, but it's so hot on this particular planet that like the atmosphere would be literally burned off. Like there would be no possibility for it. And I just find that kind of crazy.
For all my European and Canadian folks out there, in Celsius, that's about I think 4,500 degrees.
Yeah,
on the surface.
Yes, are you looking at the 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit? Yeah.
I just remembered a number. I'm not sure.
Oh no,
which
you're
one.
exactly right. That was the one that I was looking at too, and I think it was from the Arizona Observatory you were talking about. So there you go.
Yes. Hey Anne, what do you think about planets?
I don't really like space, if I'm being honest.
What?
Like,
does it stress you out?
It just has never really like caught my interest, and it's just, it's a lot to grasp onto. Not that like I couldn't if I tried to, but I don't know. I just never really was into it. This is interesting what you guys are talking about. I just have no input because I don't care. Not that I don't care.
Think about this too. If you go separate from like black holes and planets and like the scary stuff, what about stars? Anybody? Stars?
Stars
are just like little suns. So,
but like stars are cool. And did you know you can not only name a star and register a star for a small cost, you can also, this is really cool, and like I really want this thing. We talked about this before the show, but it's this thing where like stars and constellations, you can get like a print up of what like the night sky with all the stars would look like on any night you want, like your birthday or like anything. So like I just thought that was really cool.
Just to make this go full circle, do any of you know how black holes are created?
She's
still looking at the notebook in her lap.
She's not letting it go.
Let us review.
So,
okay, Paula, let's hear it.
A star is born from gas and dust in the universe, and it's a main sequence star for most of its life, where it'll be converting
She's so hyped right now.
hydrogen into helium in its nuclear core, in its nucleus via the process nuclear fusion, which allows the star to not collapse. But eventually, this hydrogen runs out, correct? And once the hydrogen runs out, the helium starts turning into another element. This happens with only the higher mass stars, by the way. The sun, our sun, in the Milky Way galaxy, that's a low mass star, so this won't happen to our sun. But anyway, once the hydrogen starts to run out, it turns into a supergiant star, and then eventually it'll keep building up heavier elements until it can't produce any more, and that's when it explodes in a type 2 supernova explosion, correct? And it will either turn into a neutron star or a black hole. So the essence of this little spiel that I gave is that black holes are created from the death of stars.
Okay.
Wow, that was incredible. You guys just listened to Paula's study session for her midterm live on the air.
But
that is
like
really
it made
cool.
It a little,
no, but it makes a lot of sense. That's
I mean,
cool.
did any of you know that? Because I definitely didn't know that up until 3 weeks ago.
No,
Paula. Thank you so much for showing us that you know this information. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. On the note of black holes, have you guys ever watched the movie Treasure Planet?
No.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's like one of those.
What? Oh my god.
It's like one of those low-key Disney animated movies that not too many people have seen. And it's about some, it's like these animated pirates from the future, and then they go around looking for treasure on a different planet. And there's like black hole scenes. It's a really cool movie. I would suggest everyone watch it. It's like Journey to Atlantis, how no one's really seen that. Not Journey to Atlantis. Not Journey to Atlantis. It's called Atlantis something.
I'm Googling it right now.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire. It's like one of those movies, really cool, but no one's really heard of it.
Wow.
Wait
down.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah, I've never heard of this movie.
I have seen this.
You've seen Atlantis?
I have seen, in Russia, in Mother Russia, on STS, which was the 5th channel. I've seen this. I haven't seen it, full through, but I know this.
Do they have cable in Russia?
Yeah, we also have schools and showers, and the bathrooms are pretty cool.
The way you said Channel 5, it just
on the 5th
strikes
channel.
me as non-cable. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have cable, you have 10 channels.
No, it's just the first 10 are. Well, one could argue that all the channels are government owned. We're not going to discuss this today.
Too much sauce, was it?
Speaking of Russia stuff, let's just tell a quick anecdote. About a couple nights ago, we were having a meeting, and we decided to prank Liza because she was coming from class. And we all sat and told her all these funny segments. And Liza, I don't know how to put this, but she doesn't really talking about like Russia stuff or like what dog are you is one of our segments and like some rapper. So we pranked Liza about doing a Russian meddling segment.
Basically, we wanted to piss Liza off by making her think we planned the whole show with segments that she would absolutely hate. Like, for example, I said that we were going to do an A Boogie spotlight. She really hates A Boogie with the hoodie. And then I told her that Sophia and Anne-Marie love him. They watched his little episode on Rapture on Netflix, and she bought it, and she was so cool about it.
She was like so touched. She's like, okay, guys, like she's like, I don't really like that, but like, and I was like, wow, like she's really like just had this long class. She's like so tired, like keeping her cool. We were like ready for her to like be like absolutely not, but it was cool. So thanks, Liza. Anyways,
on that beautiful note, Anne, ads.
Yeah, here's an ad for today. Make sure to follow KCR on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at KCR College Radio for weekly news and sports updates, as well as the latest giveaway opportunities! !
Thank you, Anne.
Man, that was so good.
Thank you. Yes, Anne.
Killing it.
If you know Anne, you know how fond Anne is of reading ads. And today she showed us something beautiful. And to that, we have a little celebration. Which, Paula?
Yes, our next segment is our philosophical discussion. So I would suggest not listening if you are easily intimidated by thoughts of the universe and existence. No, just kidding. You should still listen, though. But what I wanted to bring up is the fact that just by simply being human beings and creatures that die and are aware of our own death, you know, we kind of have this, I don't want to use the term anxiety, but this, I guess this lust to know more about our existence and question, you know, why we're here, what this means, this and that, are other people real? So I researched
are other people real? Wait, that went far. That was
people
crazy.
definitely are not real.
Listen, it's going to get pretty interesante. So we have a couple theories of the universe. One that I wanted to highlight is the theory that we actually quite possibly could be living inside a black hole, which...
Here we go again.
Yeah. But so basically space is a vacuum, right? And black holes suck in everything. So that means, in essence, what if our universe, our galaxy, is just inside a black hole, but the area before, you know, it would get crushed and the gravity would get all messed up, because we don't really know what's inside a black hole to the certain extent. So that one's interesting. But this is the theory I really wanted to discuss, everyone. Have any of you heard of the embedded universe theory?
I haven't. Can you explain?
It's based off of the string theory. So basically the string theory exists and suggests that we are in the third dimension. So if we're in the third dimension, then what's before and what's after us? So physics suggests that there are usually 3 spatial dimensions, but why can't we see them? So the embedded universe theory uses an analogy. Imagine us looking down at an ant, right? And that ant is living in the second dimension, while the ant can see above it, for example, us. It can't interact with us or necessarily conceptualize what's even going on. You know what I mean? When an ant looks at us, does it know that we have this whole universe living and it's just a small piece of our universe?
Who's the mental thing you're saying? Or is it?
Yes, well, I'm getting to that.
Sorry.
So, living life in a 2D world, yeah, it would just mean the ant isn't able to comprehend what's above it. So it's in the same sense that we're in the third dimension, so we can't really comprehend what would be in the dimension above us. So like, let's say we're a part of like someone else's world, but we just can't interact with it.
So we're ants.
Liza, what are your thoughts on this? Because you're
that's one fat world. Because like ants, they don't have telescopes. They don't have people going to the moon. We do, and that's a pretty big distance. So I understand, but also we are able to see so far, you know, through technology, like on such a great distance. So to me, this is okay. Here we go. This is just, I can see this, and I think that's a valuable, like, explanation. But I think I need a minute.
I need a minute. Soak it in. So
yeah,
to wrap this up, basically, just think about the fourth dimension and how there's a chance that there's no way that we can interact with it. So like, what if like even the entirety of our galaxy, our universe or whatever is just like this small piece next to this much larger universe or world that's going on, and these other creatures doing other things, you know? You get what I'm saying?
Have you guys watched the movie Horton Hears the Who?
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
exactly
a good
like
analogy.
that. So like their world is on a speck that's on a flower in Horton's world, and he found a way to communicate with them. Paula's laughing like this is such a stupid analogy.
Hey, sorry. So I think that the best way to approach this is let someone smarter and more wise than us.
You said smarter?
Smarter and more
Oh,
wise.
like, thanks. Sorry.
And no, but listen, I'm gonna put this person through, and we're gonna ask him some questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's
Who's
go.
this person? Phil, introduce.
Hello? Hello?
Are you here? Hello?
Are you here?
Oh my gosh. It's
Wait, hold on.
Ashmar. I had a feeling he would say something about this. So Horton Hears the Who.
Yeah.
Oh, wait to get him on there.
Can you hear?
Yeah, so Horton Hears the Who is, I don't know, it's like that. It's possible, you know, in the realm of space and time. I'm more convinced that we're a simulation, though.
That's
That's another theory.
The whole thing like mind boggles me because like what you were saying about like because Horton Hears the Who is like it's the elephant who has like the little like dandelion sort of thing and then like the little fluff thing and then like there's a town on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like that like is mind boggling, but like the whole idea that we're just like this like you said like a chunk of like what could be so much more is like I don't know, it kind of freaks me out. Like it's it's a absolutely fascinating thought, but it's also like
that. Yeah, that reminds me of this South Park episode. Have you seen this episode of South Park where the main characters, I think they had this fish tank and they had these little sea creatures, but then the sea creatures end up forming this huge society where they go to war, they create weapons of mass destruction. They also, have an education, this and that, and it's all inside their fish tank, and it's all this like little society going on similar to ours. So what if it's like in the similar sense, something like that?
That's true.
Wild. I feel like we have all these like crazy analogies where I haven't seen that episode, but I feel like it's all these interesting analogies, and I would just wonder like what really. I mean, I don't know what even question to ask about that because it's just such a huge like mind-boggling theory.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I just want to give a little explanation. I was trying to put through one of our very good friends, Ashmar Beetle, and it didn't really work out, unfortunately. But Ashmar wanted to say to all the audiences, first he says, hi, Paula.
Hey, Ashmar.
And then he also says that, why are you so obsessed with black holes?
What? I don't know.
She's trying to study for her midterm.
I'm not obsessed. That was all.
Sorry, Ashmar. Next time we'll put you through and not mute the mics. Anyway, what were we on? Sorry.
We were just discussing the possibility of us just being this small, tiny speck in someone else's universe, in essence. But another theory I wanted us to discuss is the fact that how do we know that anything exists other than our own mind? Basically, kind of like what Rene Descartes was saying, like, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you ever think about that? Because technically, our body, we don't even know that this physical part of ourselves exists, and it could just be our mind conceiving it and conceiving the pain receptors or feeling receptors, and it's just crazy.
To that, I have to say, I don't think that, I don't think that if that were the case, that the human mind would have the potential to get so creative with what it experiences. Because sometimes we experience things that we never thought we would, that we can't explain, and that I think on such a regular basis would be too hard to make up. So if we were, Rene Descartes was a pretty cool dude, but I feel like the theory with the embedded universe is more probable than I think, therefore I am.
But I'm also thinking of this more in terms of not just like other human beings don't exist, more in the sense that it's just you're not even necessarily human, but you just created this whole universe where we live on Earth, and there's these continents, and inside the continents are countries where people live and have all these different language, dialects, this and that, and problems and issues, but none of that exists because it's all things that you conceived in your head, and who knows what even you are, if this is like some simulation. But
this reminds me of Agreement Reality, if you heard about that. And that's basically, I think it's a political science term for basically like the way we know China exists is because all of us are like, there's a country there. That's
Have you
the country
been to
of
China?
See,
How do you know?
Yeah, have you been there? How do you know it's real? And that what that train of thought reminds me of. But at the same time, I feel like it's too ambiguous to be more persuasive to me personally than the previous theories.
I see what you're saying.
I think Sophia and Anne, you both had different thoughts, right?
No, I'm kind of on the same page. I just wonder, like, I mean, just about like the interaction of, like, I mean, I'm back with kind of Liz's point that, like, how could we get this creative? And I'm sitting here like looking around the KCR studio and just like thinking about what if our minds just created this, but like, well, then what space do our minds inhabit? Like, are our bodies real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get that kind of idea. Like, how are we all interacting? Is it all just like a dream, for lack of a better word, sort of thing? So I don't know. It's like, but it's also like an uncomfortable thing to talk about. Like, not like uncomfortable, but like it's very like it pulls you out of your own head thinking about it because you're like, what if, you know? So I don't know. Anne?
I think that I agree with what you guys are saying. That's just an unbelievably large thing to conceive. I mean, I don't doubt that it's possible because I have some crazy dreams sometimes, but it's a lot to conceive. Go on. Eliza, what do you have to say?
Okay, I just had this thought, but if...
That's the weirdest face you just made I've ever seen in my life. She was like freaking out. Anyways.
I'm just really excited, and I did think this through before I'm speaking, so here we go. But if it was your mind that was creating all of this, why in the world, like, some people are unhappy and end their life in extreme misery. Why would their mind create such a miserable experience? Or if it's you know, if that's the argument that it's you're the universe, why would your mind possibly want to do that? And I can see counterpoints to this, but it's just a good, point to bounce off. Yeah.
I feel like, okay, this is really going to be weird, but I'm thinking, like, if you are the creator of your own universe, what you see and like your perspective, and that's all your mind creating everything, and you're in this horrible, horrible life, I'm wondering if you're just like, if the mind is all that there is and there's just like, this creator of it, what kind of morals and like things you have in your head that might make you think like, I'm supposed to have the bad life and like others in this, space. I don't know. Liza, what are you going to say?
Sorry, as you're saying that, your phrase with, if I'm creating, does that mean you're a god? Are you God? If you believe in Rene Descartes' theory, are you your god, Sophia?
And if you are God, then why, in each of our little own universes, why would there be religion? Is there some level of like discomfort with each of us being a god, or need to create a new, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, my response to this is the fact that you are unaware that you're creating this reality for yourself. So everything, like, it's saying that this could be existing right now. So let's just focus on Liza. You, Liza, this whole world that you created, I don't exist. There's no way you could prove that I exist. You can't prove that Sophia exists, that Anne exists. You can't even prove that your body exists. You could just be some, like, mind somewhere just imagining all of these things, and you don't even know that you're doing it. That's the thing, which is why all these things are happening, because you don't know that you're the creator. I don't really know anything above that, like the reason behind all that, but the fact that you can't disprove that that this is happening is kind of what makes it appealing to me. And the fact that you can't prove anyone else's existence, or the fact that this is here, that's there, it could all just be a mind game.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to joke when you said I don't exist. Sorry, this is going to be so lame, but I was about to say, but you pay rent. And I was like, what? Okay. And I think you had something,
but
right?
I pay rent, so I exist. That's rough.
This is all a lot, and the thought that I had when I raised my hand is gone now, but...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot. I lost my thought.
It's super a lot, and I feel like it's also like it's kind of fun to talk about too, because it's like all these like, and then you also think about like the things that we have, like, if we do exist and we're just these people that are on the radio show and we're living our lives and we're talking, we have these ideas and these morals and these ways of thinking in our head that impacts how we talk about if this is even real, you know what I'm saying? So everything, like, the mind is such like a complex like network of just whatever. Liza?
Sorry, I was about to try this again, and I think it's gonna work. The wise and the smarter one.
Hello?
Yes, it worked, Ashmar.
Here we have a caller. Say your name, please.
Ashmar.
Ashmar, where are you calling from?
From Micro Center in New Jersey.
Ashmar, so your previous comment about black holes, about we got that information, but what we do want to know is, what are your thoughts on the universe and perhaps alternative.
Yeah, I just pulled up something that I wrote on my phone like 3 years ago. But I'll just read it out to you. So it's like, I think a lot about how I exist and whether or not I really do exist, but I swear I'm not crazy. Like, have you really thought about it? Your existence in the scope of the known universe? And one of my theories is that we exist in someone else's imagination. And then another one is, like, we're all projections of fragments of someone else's, consciousness. And then so, like, every part of the person is represented in an individual. So, like, the nuns are the disciplined part, the predators are the impulsive part, but it's all one person, like, split personality to, like, the billionth power. And then, what if, right?
Yeah.
Hear me out. What if our thoughts, our thoughts.
I was like, what is he saying now? Or what?
What if our thoughts aren't our own thoughts? And what if we're being like trained by another civilization? Like, you know how you train a child to behave?
Or a
like,
dog.
what if there's aliens kind of monitoring us, but like in a way that's unperceivable to us, and we would just never know that?
Wait.
And my last thing is, what if our lives are really dreams and we're all asleep and everything we know and experience is part of our unconscious?
But if we're Ashmar, hold on. If we're asleep, like, who feeds us? What sustains us? Our lives. Like,
yeah, but that's you're thinking about it in like a human sense, like not all animals or like creatures like exist in the same way. Like plants don't need to eat; they just need sunlight and something. So there could be some form of like existence where you don't require anything. So like you know who you are because you're human and you feel human. But what if you're not? Because you know how like you can take a drug and then it can completely alter your perception of reality.
Easy.
So how can you even trust in your perception of reality on the regular? Because like if you take like acid or something and you can literally see something that's not there. So how do you know you're not always seeing something that's not there? Is what I'm trying to say.
My mind is so blown right now.
That was
okay.
wild.
Okay. Okay.
Also, I agree. I really like the reference to Horton Hears a Who, because I also wrote like, what if we're just teeny tiny creatures and our big world is just like a hole in the ground, and outer space is the real world?
Do you think that? So, what if? Listen, I don't even know where to go with this, but if
you can't.
My thoughts on what Ashmar said is about the dreaming thing. What if our entire lifetime is lived in someone's one night of sleep?
Oh, that's weird to think about.
That's very possible. Like the entire universe, since time is relative to another fixed point, the entire universe really like say the universe ends, it doesn't really matter how long it existed, because it's all relative to some like fixed point. So like if something takes like 10 years, then what's the difference between like 10 years and 10 minutes in the grand scheme of things? 'Cause,
Exactly.
But what if you're someone's dream? Where does that someone come from?
Yeah, and why are you put in a certain person's dream? Why is that the way? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it the way
it's
it
not
is?
a certain person's dream. You don't exist. Like, you know when you play The Sims, you control the characters? You are the characters in The Sims. And the other person is taking complete control of your actions, but you feel like you're in control of yourself. You feel like you're self-aware and, what's that other word?
Self-sufficient?
No, like self-aware, but you also, you think you have free will. That's what I meant to say.
Oh.
So you're self-aware and you think you have free will, but like essentially you could program, like in a couple years, you could program a robot to, think that it has free will and also think that it's alive. And then, what really bridges the gap? Oh, well, my last theory is that somehow humans just got so advanced because like the way that technology is going right now, like let's say like 250 years from now, like past our lifetimes and our children's lifetimes, what if we just get so advanced that like we can create like conscious beings, and then basically we become our own gods or whatnot?
But I had this cool thought and it just ran away from me. Wait, 2 sentences ago you were talking about the robot. I see that argument, but also we won't ever know if it actually feels. We could, because we're programming it could say that it feels and thinks it's alive. But
with humans, that's why I'm saying that's why solipsism is a thing, because you can't tell you can't feel for someone else. So if you're like in front of me crying, I can't tell that you're actually in pain. I can just based off of what I see, I can make an assumption, but you can't tell what anyone else is feeling. So you don't know if anyone else other than yourself exists.
It's like we can, as humans, create artificial not civilizations, but areas. Yeah, almost. But no, like what I'm talking about is, if we have this big glass and we put like plants and all that, we can grow and create its own atmosphere. It's been done before. So imagine if we're just living in a big glass pot.
Bubble, yeah.
Exactly.
I actually just texted Paula because you guys were talking about it earlier. It made me think, because I had this dream this one time that like the whole planet was like in this weird like Futurama looking alien. It was all like just in his like a 2-year-old alien's crib, and like the whole planet, our solar system, was just on like a baby mobile. Those things that the babies look at.
At the top of their crib.
Yeah, so I was just imagining the whole solar system as like a baby mobile for an alien, and like everything that he did, like he was playing with it, and it would just like cause a tsunami or something.
Oh my god. So, wait, this was your dream?
Yeah, this is in the dream.
Oh, wow.
On the topic of dreams, last night I had a dream about someone who I haven't seen in like around 3 years. And I was just thinking, that person, I haven't talked to them in so long, and they've existed in my consciousness and they did actions. Imagine all the dreams that I've been that I had no control over what I was doing or saying, or, you know what I mean? It's a subject of consciousness, and that's just kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, I've read about... Oh, go ahead, Liza.
Sorry, we just want to say bye-bye to Ashmar because he has to go back to work. But are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'll, next time. See you guys next week.
Enjoy work.
Bye, Ashmar.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, I was just thinking too, like about the whole dreams thing with Anne. I read somewhere that like, well, I don't know if I read it or where I knew this from, but like, I guess like every person you see in your dream is someone that your mind, like the mind can't create faces. So you have, like you said, someone you haven't seen in a while, but like any random face you see in your dreams too, you've seen that person before, because the mind does not have the ability that we know of to create those faces. I also read somewhere, and this sounds like complete bogus to me, but it was something saying like, if you dream about a person, that means they are missing you. And if you miss them, you can show up in their dream, which I think is just kind of like some like romantic, like something I post on Twitter or something stupid. But I was like, ooh, like interesting. Who popped up in my dream? It's like weird to me. That probably is completely not factual, but
that's funny, Sophia. I've heard that too, actually, and I'd like to think it's true. People dream about me all the time.
Right.
No, I don't know. But yeah,
I think there is some force of thinking of someone, because there's been times where I've thought of someone and they've texted me or things like that. So
I have with Trenton sometimes. Like I think it was actually yesterday. I was about to like pick up my phone and text him, and he texted me at the same time, and I was like, oh, there's a little bit of connection there. I think so. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, that was a pretty romantic little discourse. But,
yeah.
We would like to finish this show off. We had a lot of intellectual discussions today. We talked about Facebook. We talked about black holes. Ashmar called in. We had a wonderful conversation, a philosophical conversation. I'm really sorry about the first mishap. But now we want to leave you guys off with, and probably we won't have time for the whole audio, but we're going to leave you off with a certain interview that Paula was able to get for us.
From an anonymous source.
And this is a thank you so much for listening from us. And this is a very warm, this audio also represents our really warm experiences during spring break. So hopefully we're going to say bye right now. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for texting in during the show. It's really, really sweet to see that people are actually listening in and caring. We will talk to you next week.
Yes, catch you next week.
See you guys soon.
Follow us at Thought Fusion on Instagram at Thought Fusion.
And check out thoughtfusion.squarespace.com. More updates on that to come next week, so stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. All right, here it is.
Here's the thing about it. This is my neural shield. This is the entire handbook of Yusuf.
Okay.
Now, in here, what I really value, not only the values set upon the great men that they want to create, but it's based off of Christian values.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At the same time, they've only thrown one party, and the party that they've thrown has been in my house.
Okay.
This house.
Okay.
And now I'm doing the favor for ZPC, which is
Okay.
class.
The party that it is, which is why you're like, Casey, don't post that.
Yeah.
Okay, because you care about the integrity of this group that you choose to be a part of. Okay.
Wow, I never really thought too deep into this frat stuff.
They really school you they school you very hard on values.
On values and like integrity, like.
I'm gonna show you. I can't show you much, but our values.
Why not? Is it secret? Is it something that is only privy to people who are a part of this group?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can understand that. Do you feel that it is of that importance of the like to where? Is it information that you will never find anywhere else?
I will tell you something right now. This information you can find elsewhere, but there is something that I have not been through and that anybody else has been through.
Is that gum?
This is not gum. Close the door. I'm sorry, dude. Do you know if Billy's in my room?
I don't know where Billy is.
My room's locked. My key is missing.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Do you need to handle that?
I'm keeping my keys. I'm not losing these.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hide this?
Yeah.
These are the funds for the party.
Oh, okay. I was so curious.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Good choice.
Oh, right. Guys have to pay $10.
Yeah.
Wow. You probably made a lot.
Your room's locked. I'm gonna keep it here until your room's unlocked, and then you gotta hide it.
All right. Let me.
This is a good spot.
I'm gonna take a little bit of it. We're gonna split it up.
No one can see it though. Sit down. Sit down.
I'm not. Dude, I can't sit down right now. I'm gonna count it first.
We gotta make
Yeah,
sure
that's
we break even. Adam covered everything. Is what he was telling me.
Adam's covered. I have $80 on Venmo. So 1, 2.
So this is pure profit minus, or profit minus
alcohol expenses.
We have we paid $280, so we need to cover that.
Did each member pitch?
No, just me and one other guy.
Okay.
So
he's covered. He's the other person. You're the other person that you need to pay yourself.
yeah. 60. Wait. Hold on. Wait.
Okay. I work in retail. If you wanted me to count money.
No. I
work in
good with
restaurants.
this now.
Oh, yeah.
For myself.
Yeah.
Cheers. I worked today from 4 till 9:30.
Yeah. No. I work from 10 to 6.
60, 80, 100. So
And almost every other person other than me is like an old white dude. So
123. That's
you know how they are with
and you have
numbers.
80.
Alright, hold on.
So that's in total 203, and then plus your 80, that's 283.
Wait,
so
I'm gonna
you
make
get
sure I have
$3.
80. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Y'all got your money back for the party.
The struggle, right?
Yeah. No, I know what it's like to be. I also wear many hats, and so I know what it's like to be a part-time accountant.
What's your name?
This is 80.
Okay.
What's your name?
Yeah, I'm even out.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. I'm Paula.
Nice to meet you.
Good.
So, okay.
I'm sorry we have to do this right now, but
No, it's fine.
No, it's the accounting.
I'm gonna put this back in here.
Yeah, I can take this out to the other people that need more money.
Wait,
Yeah,
like
we
as
can't-
in they
we can't-
need change,
They're gonna think
or
they're gonna think we're gonna jip them, dude. You gotta be smart about it, all right?
So we're splitting the rest of this.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I count the dollars on this.
wait,
4,
between
6,
different roommates or different people? Huh?
1, 2, 3, 4,
Between
5.
ZBT and us.
Okay.
20. Alright, thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, we know retail.
All right, cool. Be careful and leave the door unlocked because like.
Yeah. It's just.
Alright, yeah. If I need
it's
to come
just a
in,
thing.
the door's gonna be unlocked?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll knock. It's locked right now. I don't know why my door's locked.
You gotta knock really hard.
It might be Billy. I hope it's fucking Billy.
I hope it's Billy too. Not some Billy. Okay. Last thing I say about City Mechanic.
Ropes fray when you cut them too strong. Comfort fades when you push for too long. Darkness grows from the smallest of things, from shifty white stairs to